I'm not saying only the wives do this, the men do it as well. I cook at my house too. I help my wife. I do dishes along with my wife. I sweep, I mop, I do everything that I can do to help my wife. I'm not trying to get a trophy here. I'm just telling you, I don't think this is just a woman's job is what I'm trying to say. But most families, the wives, the moms would carry the majority of that load. Most families. I didn't say all, but most families typically. And so when that happens, dads, husbands, your job is to make sure that your wife doesn't get lost in the commotion and the hustle of the day. That at the end of the day, at the beginning of the day, throughout the day, she feels pursued and loved and desired by you. Amen. Because how many of you kids that know that kids don't naturally say thank you? Kids don't naturally come and say, oh, Mom, I saw how you worked so hard to make me breakfast, and it means a lot to me, Mom. Mom, I know that my socks are stinky, and you still wash them. They don't do that. So guess who has to do that, Dad? You do, right? Husbands, we do. So we come, and one of the ways that we show romance is by showing that appreciation and that love and that affection towards our wife, and let your children, train your children to teach it towards their mother also. Amen. So what am I trying to say is you got to be intentional in romancing her. This means that every once in a while you may surprise her with flowers. You may surprise her with a special dinner, just the two of you. Physical affection in ways that makes her feel cherished, that makes her feel cherished. Because what I learned is just because your wife is in the kitchen, you come up and smack her on the behind, you might feel appreciated at that moment. Doesn't mean your wife does. All right. You're like, she should feel very cherished right now. No, that's not what I'm saying. Now, I think you should do that in front of your kids. I remember my kids used to laugh. My wife was in the kitchen, boom, I'd come up and I'd smack her. I'd give her a hug, I'd give her a kiss. And I remember my kids would tell me, I'd say, I'd tell my sons, I'd literally grab my wife in the car. We had the Expedition, you remember, babe? We had that big bucket seat in the back, the bench seat. And I would grab my wife and say, come here, come here. She's like, what are you doing? I said, I'm going to give you a big kiss. She's like, why? I said, I'm going to teach my boys this is how they kiss their wife. And I said, look at me, boys. One day you're going to be married. And when you do, not until then, but when you do, this is how you kiss your woman. And I'll grab my wife and I'll kiss her really good, right? You remember that, babe? You remember my wife, like, I hope so, you remember? No, what I'm trying to say is, like, I'm not talking about just physical intimacy, that follows, but what I'm trying to say is in the middle of the ordinary day of being a wife and a mother, she's your helper. She's helping you lead your family closer to God. Amen. To the vision that you as a dad and as a husband should have for your family. This is what your wife is helping you do. So always show that romance, that appreciation and affection. Amen. So resourced, rested, and romance. Somebody say romanced. Now, for all of us, this means something different. But the goal is to remind her that she is still your priority. That's what I mean. In the middle of every day, remind her that she is your priority. Not the bank account, not the schedule, not the promotion, not even the house. Or listen, men, I know you have so much to do. You're trying to do this, you're trying to do that. Especially if you're a little bit like me, who's always shifting focus on this and that. I get it. You want to be everywhere all the time. This is why you have to remind your wife consistently. By romance, that means you show her in your actions and in your words and in your deeds, that she is your priority and that she is the love of your life in every single season. Amen. Because before the kids, it's just you two, and you have so much fun. There's a bunch of hugging and kissing, and then the kids come, and you're like, man, what's this little sack of potatoes laying between us at night? And that soils her diapers and wets the bed and burps and gets dirty and does all of these things. But this happens even in the middle of every season of young childhood to young children to pre-adolescent, adolescence, teenage years, all these seasons that come, always remind your wife that she is your priority. Amen. So resource, rest, and romance. And here's another one. Rejoiced in. Rejoice with your wife. Amen. This is the fourth way to cherish your wife and to show her love. This means that you celebrate her. Amen. Not just her as a mother and as a wife, but her as a person. So find the ways to find things that your wife is working hard towards, or that she is doing in her life, or the good qualities and characteristics of her life, and celebrate those. Amen. Some of you, your wife is very empathetic. Like, you should say that. Some of you, your wife is very caring. You should say that. Some of you, your wife is very sweet. You should say that. Some of you are like, my wife